Okay, let's get things rolling. We've got a good squad today, a midweek edition of the CT.com Spaces. I'm Nick behind the Dormint account. I'm helping co-host today. Lots of good faces around, lots of familiar faces from both this Spaces slot and the Friday Spaces slot that we do. So looking forward to co-hosting along with Han from Bluwhale and Jeff over at Cointelegraph. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. So the topic of today's Spaces is around data as the ultimate asset and a focus on Bluewhale's node sale, which Han will be able to dive into and give a lot of sort of insights on moving forward. But to kick things off, let's just go through our standard introductions. I'll go down the list and we'll get you to unmute yourself, say who you are, where you came from, so on and so forth. You know the drill. We'll go through Chonky first.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. It's always fun to be on these spaces. I'm Chonky. I'm the operations program manager for FSL. That's Step and Go, MOOAR, Gas Hero, Door, all of our fun products. Yeah, we've got a ton going on right now. It feels like we've been shipping constantly for the past 2 years. Morty has been a blast. Announced a nice little Halloween event that started yesterday. Vampires versus zombies in our Halloween showdown. So, yeah, a lot of fun things happening. I'm side zombie, because I feel like I'm half awake every single day when I wake up at 4 a.m., but that's okay. Excited to be here.
For sure, always good to have you. Let's go to Shieldium.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm the CEO of Shieldium. Shieldium is a DeepIn focused on computing power that produces services for application hosting and internet encryption. Yeah, that's us.
One of our favorites, the Shieldium boys and people we've got there. Let's go over to Ksenia at Verse.
Hi there, I'm Ksenia, SMM lead for NexusVerse. That's a full-stack accelerator committed to practical growth, hacking implementations. Our ecosystems recently surpassed an impressive milestone of 60 million users across all projects. We specialize in rapidly expanding user bases by driving high-quality traffic, providing financial support, and fostering development.
Great to have you. Let's go to Galactica.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure being back, and thank you so much for having us. I'm Alexander, Chief Growth Officer from Galactica. Galactica is building out the identity and reputation layer cross-chain in the industry to enable omni-chain use cases. And we're doing this together with some cool partners, some of which might actually be in this call. So very excited for today. Awesome to be back.
Good to have you back. Let's go to, is Andrea with us? Yes, she is.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm partner at Ogro Ventures. Ogro Ventures is an affiliate fund with Alchemy Pay. So we invest in a lot of payment-related deals, consumer apps, and all across like DeFi and Bitcoin ecosystem.
Beautiful. From one to another, let's go to Tommy.
Hey guys, Tomer, pleasure to be here. CMO of Kima, the first interoperability communication protocol in the world that enables seamless communication between any centralized and decentralized financial ecosystem, and of course, any decentralized ecosystem to any decentralized ecosystem. Also investment director of ChangeGPT Labs that some of you may know. Have two hats on my head. Looking forward to having fun here today. Seems like we're going to have a lot of interesting opinions and voices. Let's go.
Exactly. Let's do it. Let's go to Fernando from Nebula. Oh, we might be getting rugged on that side. We can come back. And then I think have we got Peter here from Boom? I think they just got invited up.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, got you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. My name is Peter, founder and CEO at Boom. And essentially what we do is very simple. There's roughly about $20 trillion worth of cash outside of the global financial system. Half of it is owned by those without access to banking, and the other half is by those that are just have cash at home by choice. And what we've done is we've essentially created a way to connect all that cash in the world to the online economy to enable people to be able to actually, store it online, spend it online, move it around the world, save it online, and do whatever they want to do with it in terms of buying and selling. And that's essentially what we're doing at Boom, powered by Web3 technology.
Perfect. Well, let's kick off. I think the only person we need to ask to speak is Han from Bluwhale, and then we can get into our conversation today.
Hey guys, great to be here. We are building the first Web3 intelligence layer on blockchains, focusing on consumer behavior data, training AI models to be able to profile and understand how people transact and predict what desires and preferences they have in the future. We match individuals to enterprises in order to reward them for the communication that they have going on. And everybody is already talking about, we are driving our current node sale. The market's pretty choppy, but it seems like everything is going upwards. So good time.
Perfect. Looking forward to picking your brains on a few things to do with that moving forward. But let's kick things off. So I guess the overview of today's space is around data as an asset. So we live in an increasingly connected globe and society. Digital barriers continue to get broken down. New innovation layers emerge almost daily. And this sparks discussions about privacy, value, how you monetize, but more importantly, how you protect and value your data, right? Today, the goal is to bring together a bunch of experts to explore the key areas that shape our digital future when it comes to assets and user ownership and data ownership, including the potential of super apps like Telegram and WeChat, and the importance of proper data handling, traffic analysis, and much more. So it's going to be a fun conversation. I want to kick off the first question. Can a digital footprint become our most valuable asset? And the secondary question off that, is privacy in today's day and age truly attainable? I might start with Shieldium. Obviously, you guys will have a lot to add on this point. So, kick us off.
Yeah, so me personally, and as a deep in itself, we are very big on privacy and being anonymous online. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I am very biased. Okay, so my view is that it's none of people's business to know what you're doing online. And our encryption basically ensures that and guarantees it. Besides that, I also think that many governments are quite repressive, right? They don't allow certain things, or you cannot visit a certain site, or the Brazilian government just decides, okay, on a random day, we're going to block X, and all these type of things that I'm very much against. So to basically go against it is stuff that we as a network do. And the same thing is true for application hosting.
Perfect. Can you maybe just go a little bit deeper on your bias aside, right? That's where you guys exist in this ecosystem. That's what you're trying to achieve. How important do you think data protection is, and do you see it becoming, a bigger issue moving forward if it's not properly managed?
Well, I mean, the biggest culprit of theft is through phishing, right? Where people connect their wallet or leave certain details, and then it's abused to basically steal stuff from people. It's the biggest culprit of theft. And especially since crypto is growing so much and so much money is in people's wallets these days, that it's the most attractive avenue for scammers to go after. So yeah, it's absolutely an issue, and it's a growing issue. It's unfortunately, even with all the efforts from all the security companies, it's still on the rise. The amount of money lost every single year. Every year it's growing. How much billions people lose.
Maybe let's go to Galactica and then Han on this. Through today's spaces, people just throw your hands up, and if you want to comment on anything, feel free. But let's go to Galactica.
Thank you so much. Just answering the first part of the question, can a digital footprint become more valuable or become one of our most valuable assets? And we at Galactica, the answer might be obvious if you ask any one of us, but we definitely think it is. It's not only becoming, but we think it's quite evident that it's created the most successful business models in human history. Right? You have the top 5 companies in the world all work with data. And if we do comparisons, right, we can look at how much was airdropped in 2023, which was roughly 4 billion. And then we can look at Facebook's profit in the same year, which was, I think, 142. And then if we also look at the future of data and the value of it, I think OpenAI just closed their VC round 1 or 2 weeks ago. And I think they closed at a raise of $6.6 billion, $157 billion valuation or something like that. The highest valuated company at that round and the highest amount ever raised in a VC round. And how much of that went to the people whose data has essentially been the lifeblood of OpenAI? Most likely not too much. So that puts a little bit sort of in perspective. Data truly is the new gold. It's been the predominant commodity since early 2000s, and it's created the biggest tech companies in the world that are the most profitable companies in human history. And they have now also broken the barrier for what can be raised by VCs in a VC round. And on that note, I will pass it over to Han, because I think what Bluewhale is doing and how they're utilizing data and how they're giving some of that power back to individuals by matchmaking them with the people that are willing to pay for this data, I think that's quite beautiful. So I will pass the mic over to Han at Bluewhale.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you know, just to reconfirm, like, I feel privacy is a matter of technology. And the thing is, like, you know, I do believe that the blockchain gives new opportunities to companies like Galactica, right? Like being able to encrypt, being able to create security for the individual. And I think it's a huge, huge market. You know, like if you look at what Bluewhale does versus like what a Facebook does or what a Google does, right? On Google side or on Facebook side, 100% of the earning is done by them, right? That means like whatever enterprises are spending goes directly into their pockets, 100%. And at the consumer level, we get nothing, right? What we want to do is to leverage opportunities from a technology perspective, because the blockchain enables decentralization and enables better security. And with the encryption and different technologies that are coming in the next coming years, I do believe, like, you know, we should be able to assess someone's or one individual's data from a financial perspective. And so if we can assign a financial value to a single person, then that means we are open a new economy around people's personal data, creating a complete new asset class, which is you as an individual, the footprint that you're creating as an individual, and with the additional security that the blockchain and additional services and layers on the blockchain can help you protect. And so on Bluewhale, what we believe is that we want to connect you to the right enterprises, but not, you know, like earn all the capital that the enterprise is spending on you, but just push and connect you to the right capital that is kind of like spent to target you, to reach out to you, to communicate to you. And you won't believe like how much people are willing to spend on talking to you directly. I don't even believe into the ad model these days anymore, because ads is literally just showing to a specific audience what they want to see and they want to click or engage on. But I think the next level of advertisement is actually a personalized communication. That means an enterprise being able to send you a message about the offering, specifically tailored to what you like, what you want to, or what you desire, what your preferences are. And I think that's the next level of what, you know, like the Web3 space could look like. And of course, the monetization for individuals to generate passive income from a, you know, like a universal income perspective.
Let's I think a couple of people had their hands up there. Boom, and maybe one other. Let's go to Boom, piggybacking off that, and then if anyone else wants to weigh in on this topic, we can do that.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. From our perspective, so there are two types of data, right? In terms of, we talk privacy, you know, I believe, there was a gentleman earlier that was saying something about, you know, being online totally anonymous. I think that the two ways we do things are, we transact online today. We do so anonymously sometimes because we want to be private. And we also have a persona that's not, private, that wants to share. Like, for instance, if you're a writer, you're a blogger, you're a content creator of some sort, you need to have your data out there and it needs to be, assigned to you to show that you own the IP for that. And I think, part of the challenges that people are facing today is the fact that they've overshared in the last 20 years online on all sorts of various platforms, like you said earlier. And, all that data you share online on social media, it's not yours anymore. It's theirs. And essentially by sharing, you give them a license to use that data and do whatever they want to do with it. And sadly, most of them are using that data right now to train their models, based on what you've put out there. So I think the opportunity moving forward is for people to be aware that everything they share online, if it's not sitting on your server behind a firewall, if it's not private, it's public. And if it's public, everyone will have access to it. So, but, in terms of the next set of the next decade or so with all the opportunities and technology there is out there today, I think what we need to do as an industry is to better educate people about what they share online and to potentially help them to monetize their content that is private. So if it's private and some, AI, sucks up that data, you need to be monetized and rewarded for that in that sense, So that's just my 2 cents.
Let's go to Galactica, and then I might throw it to Toma and Andrea to discuss this from an investor lens.
Sorry, we're too passionate about it. I just wanted to jump through it. After this, I will be quiet for a while, Dan. I'm sorry. But I just want to continue on what Boom mentioned, and I think it's a very, very good point, is that a lot of these LLMs have been trained on the data that people have been pushing out for the last 2 decades nearly. And we can see the value that has accrued to these centralized entities. And what I don't think that people can wrap their head around today, because it's going to have such a tremendous impact on not only our industry, the crypto industry, but as the globe as a whole, as humanity, is when we're starting to train these AIs on biological data, on health data, on financial data. Because that will quite literally unlock new, what are they called? New drugs that can treat diseases. It will unlock better portfolio strategies. It will unlock these big assets, these big utilities that have the possibility to create great divides in society. Or we can actually democratize the access and the reimbursement for this incredibly wealthy data, this incredibly valuable data, to the people that have actually created it. I'm reminded by a Chinese philosopher who sort of pushes that the derivative can never be more worse than the source. And I want to remind everybody that you as a human being are the source from any data derivative is created. You are the de facto owner of that. Be very careful about giving away your biological, health, or financial data, because that will become the gold mine of the next 2 decades, because that on a scale has the ability to change the world as we know it.
Can I just really pitch into that right now?
Yeah,
I was at a conference in Basel in Switzerland like 2 months ago at Novartis campus, and apparently a number of pharmaceutical firms have gone to Africa, for instance, and have sucked up and taught all their AI models. They've fed all the biological and health records of vast amounts of African citizens has been fed into that already. So it's almost too late for that. It's pretty scary. And the impact of that in terms of health insurance, if they know that, oh, guess what? This guy's got, a high blood, or high sugar intake or whatever it is. Guess what? We might as well just increase his insurance because he's prone to diabetes and things like that. So it's almost too late to stop that, in terms of, biological data. So it's scary.
Agreed. Maybe let's go to Toma and Andrea. Just on this note about data, do you guys think that data-related projects have room to grow and scale in this space, given what we're talking about right now?
So definitely I'd say that it's quite obvious that yes, I believe that everyone will agree that yes, At the end of the day, as been said before, that's why, by the way, I removed my hand, because most of the stuff regarding the previous question was already answered by the team here, of participants. So data is indeed a new gold, and what basically built some of the top 10 S&P 500 companies is their ability to have data on users and to understand our needs, our wants, and to know how to market to us services and products. At the end of the day, as we all like to be behind the screens and tap into our keyboards, we all know that at the end of the funnel and the tunnel, someone needs to sell us something. It needs to be a service, it needs to be physical goods. And the way to do so is by knowing about us as much as possible, right? Data mining is basically the new gold mining online. I think, of course, to projects and companies these days, probably better than mining Bitcoin. I truly believe that the conversion between the ROI would be much higher for the data side than to any token side these days. So indeed, data is the new gold. I believe that we're just beginning to learn what can be achieved in the decentralized realm by learning about users, about their interactions, and about their past behavior, and to predict their future behavior with the power of AI. We're, of course, unlocking completely new realms of data mining and machine learning capabilities for users and for wallet addresses and abilities to analyze data that we never had before, at least not in this at this speed. And I definitely think that we have a lot of room to grow, and this is still a blue ocean. Personally, you asked before on the investment side. Then personally, I'm involved in quite a few projects, or aiming to do so. Also have a personal background from cybersecurity myself. And by far, I can say that there's nothing more important in this world, and there is no better commodity than data in these realms. Then, as someone said before me here, keep yours safe and keep it to yourself, because indeed, this is the new goal of our digital era.
I totally agree with Tomer. I think, data is a huge wave of financial assets that has been monetized for the last decade. Now, I think for the last decade, the difference was that we as individuals just never get a penny of it. That's the real problem, right? Like, none of the guys that are in this audience has ever get a penny for the data that they have been sharing online. And through the blockchain, that's incredibly powerful, which means now not just like the big companies that are sitting in between, that are leveraging our data, that are accumulating our data, that are selling our data to other enterprises are benefiting from it, but through the blockchain, for the first time in a lifetime, individuals like us can benefit. And that's a huge change, right? And the thing is, like, it's not just from a security perspective, but also from a data monetization perspective, and also from a profit and margin and financial distribution perspective. It makes such a huge difference, especially for every individual that is interacting in the digital world. Because, to be completely honest with you, if the FBI wants to go after you, they will find a way, right? I give you a good example. In China, blockchain has been blocked for a long time. And, some of the companies are still continue to do blockchain companies. Now, those founders of those companies, they think they are anonymous by using NFTs as their profiles. They are not. People find them, and then they find them, and then they put them either behind prison or they charge them. So at the end of the day, you're not, if you're engaging in the interacting in the digital world, you're not safe. The data will get to you at some point. But the thing is, like, now the question to you is like, hey, can I be incentivized through the system at all? Can I even earn from the system? Can I be benefiting from the system? And right now the question is, the answer is no, you don't. In the Web3, in the Web2 world, in the decentralized world, you have no way of benefiting from that reality, because the guys on top of you will be monetizing you and you get nothing. Are you willing to continue to exist in this reality? And that's the real question. And at Bluwhale, we believe, no, we don't want that to happen. We want the individual, everybody here in this audience, to benefit being a part of it, because you guys are the ones that are creating the data. You deserve to be paid for that data. You are the ones who should be incentivized, not the guys that are sitting on top of you that are actually, grabbing all the margins that are being paid for.
Chonky, did you have your hand up there to piggyback? I think he did, but he might have dropped it down. Chonky, are you there, or?
No, I'm here. Yeah, I just wanted to agree entirely and also say this, I think it's from an educational standpoint, we're way behind where we need to be for people to fully start understanding that there is actually monetization that can come from your data. I don't think the average person understands what happens at a bank whenever you deposit your money. And I don't fully understand, to be quite honest, what happens at a bank whenever you deposit your money. And that's by design. You can look at it the same exact way with your data, because essentially data is money in that sense. I don't think people have a clue that their data is and can be monetized. And when you start to provide that value back to people, that's when they start to understand. But it's one of those things that sounds too good to be true, because that's sort of where we're at.
Just jumping in quickly, because sadly we at Galactica need to jump off, but we just want to highlight Han, Bluewhale, the incredible work that they do. Their upcoming node sale, where definitely a lot of the team members here at Galactica are going to participate in it. Han, I don't think that we're going to spoil or share any upcoming news, but Bluewhale have some amazing take. They have an amazing team, and they're literally providing people with the ability to start monetizing their data. We're extremely excited about it. And it might be that we might be doing something together with Bluewhale as well, but we're not going to share that here and now. We're going to leave that for the future. But Han, Bluewhale, the best of luck to you guys. We're incredibly impressed with what you're doing and the leader role that you've taken on in this space, both as an educator, but also as an inspiration for a lot of us. So all the best to you, and definitely good luck on the node sale. We're definitely a couple here that are going to partake in it. All the best, everyone. Thank you so much for having us in this space. Sadly, we need to jump off, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak on this topic? Otherwise, we might throw it a hand just to give a deep dive on the Bluewhale node sale, how users earn with the project, what's the difference between master and common nodes, your short-term roadmap. Take the floor for a few minutes.
Yeah, I think I'll add some color on the data side. So I think in the previous cycles, we actually see a lot of data infrastructure. So if another project wants to build another data infra, data oracle, it's better suggested that they have a more focused area. And that means that it can be closer to the application side. So that can be like deeping, gaming, payment, or AI. The good thing about that is I think we already passed the stage that infrastructure projects with high FDV can still attract funding. Right now, both the private investors and retail investors already know that without true users and revenue, it's actually very hard to be sustainable. So I think that's what makes it different in the data market.
I do agree with Andrea, because I think, just data itself is not going to be a value, right? Just because someone is doing a data lake or like an open data set is not going to be benefiting everybody of ourselves. Now, the difference that what we are kind of like targeting is, on a larger umbrella, it's called personalization. And to define for you what personalization really stands for is like your personal data, right? Now, what we are doing with the node sale, and this is kind of like a natural transition, is that we want to tap into 7 billion devices, mobile devices that are out there. Because at the end of the day, ask yourself, like, where is my personal data sitting, right? And you will naturally come to the conclusion that more than 70-80% of your personal data is sitting on your smartphone. And so if you could turn your smartphone into a money-making machine that is running behind the scenes while you have it in your pocket, would you do it? Right? And I think, like, for a lot of audience members, right, like, they would be like, yeah, sure, like, let's do it. Like, how do I do this, right? And the thing is, like, with the node sale and for, Bluewhale, we have spent so many months analyzing what node sales really stand for. And I think it's a huge opportunity for the entire space for long-term commitment of a decentralized network and community that is participating in growing your business than just the, like, money grab that a lot of the other guys have looked at from a fundraising perspective, from a, like, monetary perspective, from how much money can I grab from a node sale. We have looked at it this way. First of all, the three barriers to node sales, like, first of all, we don't want to have it technical. We don't want the complexity because, like, hey, the grandmas in Korea, they're not going to be downloading software. They're not going to check my hardware specs in order to make sure they can run my nodes, right? Like the normal people, they just want to have an app where they can tap on and then they're making money. That's literally like how every mini app works in Telegram. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like, decentralization through a node sale only happens if real people buy your nodes, individual people buy your nodes and contribute into the system. It doesn't work if I have, like, one person coming in with $80 million buying, like, 70% of my entire nodes and then saying, like, oh, I did a great node sale. That's why we told ourselves in Bluewhale, like, hey, we are not successful if we raise like 120 million, where one person bought 80% of our nodes. We are only successful if thousands of people bought our nodes, because that really matters. That stands for decentralization. It's a KPI. It's a metric of how to decentralize the network. And then the last piece, of course, is like, hey, if people have so many mobile devices, and I tell you, like, how many of my community members actually complain that they don't have a desktop or a laptop or like a GPU machine sitting at home that can mine for them or can provide that contribution into a network. And I'm like, hey, how many people have mobile phones versus, like, actually, like, large server or towers sitting at home? And so if you look at the world, right, like, we are going mobile, we are going decentralized. And now it's a matter of, like, turning, the spin or the twist about user experience so that you can reach the masses. It's the same like what ChatGPT did. They didn't reinvent AI. They created a better user experience. And that's why it took off. That's what we want to do with nodes.
Is there anything else you want to share about the upcoming sale? Specifically, if I'm a user looking to participate, what benefits I get from it and from participating?
100%. So I think, like, from a user perspective, getting into the node space, it's very complicated. And to, trust me, like, I tried for the last 6 months. It's not something that I was very used to. I studied a lot about, like, how to set up nodes, how to purchase nodes. The end-to-end process and the user experience is terrible, right? And reaching the masses is so hard. But the thing is, like, in order to participate in the Bluewhale node sale, all you need to do is either go to one of the participating launchpads. Like, for example, what CT.com is doing is world-changing. They are trying to being able to create distribution channels for nodes across Telegram. And that's mind-blowing, right? They are opening up to individuals, normal users, We have 900 million users sitting on Telegram, being able to purchase nodes just by responding to like a Telegram bot or being able to purchase on Telegram. That's incredible, right? That's the next evolution of what node sales should be. So first of all, going to launchpads, going to platforms, going to like infrastructure players that are selling our nodes in the most easy way possible. Swissborg is selling our nodes through their system on mobile devices. They have a mobile app you can download on iOS, on Android, and then you can buy your nodes with like USDC, USDT, with any currency. And then, you know, like one of the biggest signals for us was like when OKX signed up for us. So OKX is going to be starting to sell our nodes next Monday and Tuesday. And that's going to be going on for 1 to 2 months. So they have 100,000 daily active users on their platform, and having their support with all the nodes and all the kind of like currencies or tokens that you can be using to purchase those nodes. It's just going to make it easier for the normal consumer to come in, for the next wave of adoption to come in and say like, hey, nodes is a great way for me to have a long-term commitment into a project. And it makes it social and it makes it extremely valuable for me because it unlocks from day one. It gives me on a daily basis earnings. And I could benefit from leveraging the device that I already have in my pocket every day.
Awesome. We're really, really excited for you guys. We'll be watching closely and like Galactica participating on our side as well. So good stuff. If you have anything else to share, feel free to jump back in. Let's go to, I guess, the last question. I feel like this has flown by quite quickly. I want to go to the point around user data, and can user data from super apps like Telegram and WeChat be monetized? So we analyze user behavior, preferences, and interactions, and could that now pave the way for things like, you know, Meta does with targeted ads, personalized services? Is this a legitimate path to new revenue streams? Might go to NexusVerse and Ksenia, like you guys are mini application experts in the game, and then we'll just throw it open to the group.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So it goes without saying that Telegram offers numerous opportunities, and we've already utilized advanced analytics methods in our work for geo-targeting, engaging with premium users, and improving retention boost methods. We're looking forward when projects like Bluewhale gain widespread adoption, allowing us to access user quality on a large scale, understand their deep preferences and habits, and build high-quality advertising campaign around this. This will allow us to tailor services that genuinely engage users and significantly improves their life, we believe.
Let's go to Toma on that point. Oh, you're muted, Toma. Or he's just put the ghost hand up. That also happens sometimes. Does anyone else want to speak on this or other alternative revenue streams that they see being able to pop up from things like mini apps, WeChat, so on and so forth?
Sorry, I was just, Twitter Space is always challenging. Pardon me. It took a while until it removed the mute button to change the screen sizes here between the monitors. Pardon.
No worries.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, you asked an interesting question about Telegram. So we had back in the day, I sound very old, which I probably am, but, coming from the Web 1 and then we have Web 2 and then we had now living in Web 3. You asked if Telegram can, monetize our data and other services can. We had a saying back then, we still have it, that said, if you're using a utility and you don't buy any product, then you are it. So while using, all of the social media platforms that we're using, we're basically being the product, right? We are the thing that these platforms are selling, our data, and how we're using things. So I believe that the question if the data should be ours in centralized entities, in a centralized centralized companies, should always be if we're paying for a certain service or not. Of course, that if we're not paying for a service and we're willing to accept getting services for free, we should be fully understanding that we are the ones that are being generating the revenue for the one who provide us the service. So basically waiving any ability to monetize our data and information. So Telegram, for example, presented at some point the paid service, the paid monthly fee. So, and others are starting to also do this in order to not be forced to monetize the information they're gathering of users. I believe that you all, for example, already know if you're using WhatsApp, that WhatsApp is still free forever for everyone, as they claim, free forever, because it's owned by Meta. And when you're speaking about a certain subject with your friends in text, suddenly you're logging into Facebook or Instagram or Threads now, and you're basically seeing advertisements like magic to the subject you were discussing with your friends. Although no one actually tells you to your face that they're actually doing it, we'll kind of understand that it happens. Looking forward to see how in Web3 this is going to work, and super excited for Bluewhale's note sale to take part of it also, because I truly believe that for the first time we're able to actually own our digital identity, our digital persona, and decide if and how we're monetizing it. We're creating so much information online throughout the years. I've joined the web maybe 25 years ago. The amount of data that was created, is enormous. I'm being monetized on each second in every website I visit. I'm not sure for how many years already, but even if I would probably do a rev share of 10% or 15% from the data that was used about me, my companies, my family, and you guys, each and every one of us, I'm sure that we will be probably sitting on a large amount of money. I believe probably, in dozens of thousands of, maybe, the dozens of thousands of dollars. Depends on who we are and where we are located and what our habits of spending are online. So to your question, definitely think that it's a matter of how we interact with which application, which dApp, and what the monetization model is. And we should be aware that if there is no product for us to sell, we are it. That's my 2 cents.
Always appreciate it. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share on this point? I have no other specific agenda items, so we've got a few minutes if people want to get anything off their chest, weigh in on anything that we've been talking about today. Maybe we'll throw to Han for just like a little wrap up of node sale timings, expectations, and then we can give everyone a few minutes back on their Wednesday.
So I really don't want this space to turn into a sales pitch, right?
Do it.
I do agree with Tomer a lot. What he said is so on point, which means if we were part of the rev share over the last couple of years about how our data was used, some of us might be rich by now, right? And this is passive. I'm talking about passive, which means you wouldn't do an additional task on top of the daily, content creation that you're already doing, right? The posting, the chatting, the communication, the interactions and engagement. You wouldn't do more than that because it's all recorded in the background. But the thing is, I do agree also about previous content, feedback about, that a lot of people need to be educated about what their data is actually worth. And I feel that's a huge gap that is currently in the space. They don't understand that, the data that we are generating on a daily basis is actually creating trillions of dollars for Facebook and Google. And we are actually getting no cut in this regard.
Yeah.
Right. You're getting no cut. And the thing is I don't expect anybody in this audience to understand how do I monetize, how much is my data worth. I think that's a task that we're going to be passing on to AI. The AI will figure out how much is our data worth, What's the financial value that should be assessed to what we are creating in the space, in the digital footprint? How much is that worth? I don't think that's a mathematical task that is dedicated to each of us, right? But the thing is, like, a system that could actually incentivize us on a daily basis for every single footstep that we are creating in the digital world, rewarding us for the engagement, for the content that we're creating on a daily basis, especially as, you know, past COVID versus like pre-COVID. I feel like content creation has become a new business model for a lot of individuals. Even the guys that are not professionals in the space could be actually generating some very solid income on the back end. That's what our node sale is about. We want to empower the individual. We believe that your data is worth more than what you believe it is and what you have earned over the last decade. And all you need is a mobile device. Even in, you know, in all kinds of like countries, mobile phone is the number one device that can power, you know, the data contribution that you have. And as Bluewhale, we are just an AI layer. We want to, you know, empower you. We want to learn from the data. We want to be able to match you to the right enterprises so that you can be rewarded for what you're creating. We are not here to actually be another Facebook or be another Google. We're here to just be the one, you know, like I always used to joke around. We are here to be the Tinder. We want you to get married. We just want to match you to the right partner. Right?
Very, very strong. Very strong.
That's the funny story about what we want to try to achieve. And with our nodes coming up, starting the public sale October 22nd, I do believe, like, the more people we can get in, I don't care what I raise. I care about how many people are being participating in this space, in the node sale. That's what matters. That's the only KPI that I'm going to be looking for when I'm going to look at the outcome and the result and the success of what we are achieving together. If we can convince the masses to participate, then we won. No matter if we raise $1 million or $10 million or $20 million, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the amount of people that are holding our nodes. And I hope, you know, like, the people in the audience today, they understand how important the vision of decentralization of our AI system to 7 billion mobile devices that are actually globally, you know, being used is so important to us. We're not here for the short game. We're here to build something much, much bigger than ourselves.
Awesome. We're excited for you guys. Is anyone else want to speak on this? Otherwise, we will we'll wrap things up and everyone can go about their Wednesdays, and we'll see you all next week.
What a speech, man. I'm ready to run through a wall.
Right. Exactly. Exactly right. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, another awesome hour with you all. We'll be back on Friday on our parent account. It's always a pleasure being with you, sharing alpha, sharing insights. Good luck, Han, and everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. See you in the sale.